by integrity, our words by kindness, and our hearts by a shared commitment to serve others. Let us be mindful of the needs in our communities and beyond, and may the connections we build here inspire solutions that create lasting positive change. May we lead with purpose, collaborate with respect, and always strive to live out the values of Rotary: service above self, truth, fairness, goodwill, and benefit to all. Thank you all for this opportunity to come together in the spirit of service and shared humanity. Amen. Dave?
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning again. So we have a lot of announcements today. So we're going to have a kind of a little bit of a special meeting this morning in some respects. One announcement is the proposal to adopt a young professionals membership designation passed. It's a great opportunity for us to open our club up to and provide opportunities and leadership development opportunities for young professionals. So thank you for supporting that effort. So Deb, Cindy, if you would come forward. I mentioned last week that we have a special program today. At our last meeting, board meeting, Cindy proposed honorary membership for Deb. In addition to her regular duties supporting our meetings, she has also been an active listener, participant, and has volunteered at countless events. Cindy?
Thank you, and thanks everyone for the board for allowing this to happen. Deb is with us not only here, like Jean said, she volunteers at all of our events and doesn't need to. And so we are just honored that you are now an honorary member of Dublin AM Rotary.
So we want to thank you for the honor of allowing me to be a member of the Rotary AM Dublin. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Well, Deb, sorry. You have to do the official.
Oh, cool.
Oh, the official, sorry.
The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and to develop acquaintance as an opportunity for service, uphold high ethical standards in all that you do, apply the ideal of service in personal, business, and community life, promote international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional people united in the ideal of service. So thank you for all that you've done, and again, we welcome you to the club. We have a badge on its way, but we have your official Rotary pen, and you can be fine. So.
Can't be fun.
Thank you. All right. There was one contingent thing, and those people aren't here. So, Sandra, I understand you would like to make a brief announcement.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Sandra Piskarczyk, and I am a volunteer special event chair at the Memorial Tournament. And a lot of my focus is on serving our veterans and families of the fallen Gold Star families. We keep adding things. I shouldn't say we. The Memorial Tournament and the sponsor workday continues to add things to benefit the veterans military and the Gold Star families. This year, we're adding a fleet, a golf cart fleet dedicated of transporting people. We'll be working with the Buckeye Chapter of Paralyzed Veterans of America and the Disabled American Veterans and a lot of other organizations. We realize there's going to be a lot of need for golf cart transportation. So I'm here today to seek assistance to fill those slots. You can't just go onto this website and do this. It requires an access code, which is Salute. This is a word of mouth thing. So for you here, if you can volunteer, we would love to have you. If you can't, if you can let people that you work with know about this, people in your family, your neighbors, but we want this to be a special group of folks who want to take care of our veterans and our Gold Star families. You can email me specialevents@thememorialtournament.com, easy to remember. Or you got Dave's phone number or my phone number, whatever to call. But we would really love to have you take part and help us serve those who have served our nation or the families who suffered the ultimate sacrifice. So sorry, I get choked up about this. But anyway, it's an incredible opportunity. I hope you can help.
Sandra, where's the website you use the code for?
It's the memorialtournament.com, and then there's volunteer opportunities.
Great.
Yeah, so it's easy to navigate, but I'm a phone call away. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Barb, would you like to introduce your guest and speak a little bit? Yeah, please.
Thanks. Good morning, everybody. I wanted to mention a program that Rotary, Dublin Rotary is now supporting. Yay. It's called Deep Bria. And Ashleisha Anwale is here. Her parents were the founders of Deep Bria 50 years ago. This year celebrates the 50th anniversary of Deep Bria. So it's program, she'll talk very briefly about it, but it's programming in India that helps families from birth to senior citizens in a very poverty-stricken area of India. So we're grateful to Rotary for supporting. There are pamphlets on your table. These little pamphlets about Deep Bria. There's also this flyer. So we're celebrating the 50th anniversary, and the Deep Bria USA board, which I am a member of, is having an event. Every year we have it, but this year is very special because it's the 50th anniversary. It'll be a dinner at First Community Church on Dublin Road, the North Campus. There'll be a panel of people speaking. One is Ashleisha, obviously. And the other is Dr. Kathy Slump, who's Public Health Director for the state of West Virginia, and Dr. Amy Acton, who previously was Health Director for the state of Ohio. She is running for governor now, but we booked her before she was running for governor. So it's not a political event. It's an event to celebrate Deep Bria, fundraising event, and it'll be a wonderful opportunity to engage in conversation. So we're grateful to Rotary. There is a grant that Rotary is going to, has been approved for Rotary to give to Ashleisha and her programming. So she's here for 3 weeks visiting us and staying at 2 persons' homes. So she's not like hopping from one home to another every day. But we're keeping her very busy while she's here. She's visited food pantries, Mid-Ohio Food Collective, schools, churches, other organizations and foundations. So we kept her very busy with just a little free time. So I'm going to let her speak briefly, but on your tables again is information about the dinner, a lot of information on your tables, but information about the dinner and then information about Deep Bria itself. So I'll let her speak. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for having me. I also want to say thank you for accepting our proposal and supporting us. Like Bob said, Deep Bria is a 50-year-old organization. When we started with a one-room clinic, I don't think the founders had 50 years in their mind at all, but they laid an incredible foundation where we listen to the community that we work with and we're responding to the needs of the community. It's an organization that has evolved and adapted to the changing needs. That's what's kept us going, and I believe that's why we're still here. Our programs cover education primarily, access to education, healthcare, senior citizen living, and also a research study with Cornell on diabetes. All our programs are aimed at making sure that the community leads the change that they want to see for themselves. And Deep Bria plays a supporting role. We are privileged to be a part of it, and we are extremely honored to be supported by the Rotary. This is one of the few times that we've been supported. We've been supported previously many years ago by the Rotary, not just here, but also in India. So it's a partnership that we do value, and we appreciate your support for the work that we're doing. Thank you so much.
And we have another update on our upcoming 35th anniversary. Holly?
Wasn't prepared to do that.
Oh, sorry. I love it when a plan comes together. Claudia? Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everyone. I was not, just give me a second. I just want to make sure, I don't remember where I left off last
I'd
time.
like to give you a second.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank everyone for helping out, those of you that volunteered in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. I don't know if you were thanked last week, I wasn't here, my son got married. For the parade, it was not 70 degrees, it was not sunny, but the sun did come out eventually, right? And it was a fantastic parade, so thank you to all the volunteers, appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So last week we went through our first, I think it was 15 presidents and their themes. And so this week for our history series, we're going to finish going through our most recent presidents and themes. So we left off last week. That's what I was trying to remember where I left off. I've been to the Bahamas and back since I was here last Friday, and my brain is apparently still there. Okay. So we left off with Dave Connolly. So 2011 to 2012 was Claudia Trusty, Reach Within to Embrace Humanity. 2012 to 2013, Dave Holliday, Peace Through Service. 2013 to 14, Mike Close, Engage Rotary, Change Lives. 2014 to 15, Julie Rinaldi, Light Up Rotary. 2015 to 16, Wolf Lant, Be a Gift to the World. 2016 to 17, Ramona Coyle, Rotary Serving Humanity. 2017 to 18, Bonnie Coley-Mailer, Rotary Making a Difference. 2018 to 2019, Dwight Seeley, Be the Inspiration. 2019 to 2020, Ken Underwood, Rotary Connects the World. 2020 to 21, David Bentz, Rotary Opens Opportunities. 21 to 22, Mike Eisler, Serve to Change Lives. 22 to 23, Susan West, Imagine Rotary. 23 to 24, Ingrid Fields, Create Hope in the World. And lastly, 24 to 25, our current president, Jean Oliver, The Magic of Rotary. Just a reminder, we'll be continuing this series every week. And after this week, we're going to be putting the facts that Susan has put together in a card and leaving on the table. So one lucky winner each week will get to read to the club instead of me.
So before I thank you, you did forget one though. 28 to 29, Hallie Marquez.
Oh, I was like, oh, man.
Oh, come on, you gotta apply to that. Nice. Lou,
Yes, we are going to return to the Transportation Research Center on May 2nd for our meeting. That's the test facility north of Marysville. I have flyers on the table here, so that the details of the upcoming meeting and tour, and you'll have to, if you want to, sign up, let me know, and I can give you a visitor agreement and waiver form signed. So we're gonna be going back there. And incidentally, I was looking in the paper today, And PRC is named one of the top 10 employers in Central Ohio. Worthington Industries comes #1, so you know where that all goes. Thank you.
Any other announcements? Yeah, please.
Real quick, just for everybody's awareness. From the city, next Saturday, April 5th, from 8 AM to 1 PM. We'll be having our Sustainable Saturday, otherwise known as the HHW collection and document shredding. Last year, we had about 1,300 cars come through, so if you want to go, probably don't be there at 8, because that's when most of them went through. 9, 10 o'clock, things start to slow down, but if you have documents you need shredded, or if you have paint, hazardous waste materials, pesticides, whatever that you need to get rid of. And this year, we're also at, the Dublin Police Department will be there to take over prescriptions and pills. And styrofoam, I think, like food waste, we're taking, there's other things too. And,
You're taking
batteries, yes, batteries, that counts as HHW. And electronics and textiles, a couple other things, so. You can notice or whatever you don't want in your car and probably won't be taking it home. And that will be next Saturday at the service center out at 6555 Shire Rings. You'll get to see me directing traffic. And I will be out there from 8 AM to 1 PM. So, all right, thank you.
Just a reminder, next Sunday is our Coachville family event at Tim McGann. Can't remember, we're all sitting on registration, so please take a look at that. Welcome all, from noon to 3 next Sunday, April 6th.
Thank you, David.
One more pitch for the district Veterans Honor Flight, which is in September of this year. Anybody that you're aware of that's a veteran that hasn't had an opportunity to participate in the Veterans Honor Flight. Excuse me, this one's in September. And to apply, you need to go to the District 6690 website. And you'll go down to the Veterans Honor Flight 925 and you can get an application there. So if you know of anybody, or if you're a neighbor or relative or anybody that hasn't had an opportunity to attend the DC trip, it's an amazing trip for those veterans. And so we'd like to make sure we give as many people the opportunity to go as possible.
Please.
Morning, everyone. I'm really excited and grateful that Rotary is sponsoring my position in Leadership Dublin this year. I'm really excited that I get to work with the Dublin Historical Society and with Mike at the Dublin History Museum. And a part of our work with the History Museum, that's our project, our group of 7 is working on. We are doing a survey to community members. Thank you to Rich for putting those on folks' tables. There's a flyer, I think it's got like a yellow banner on the top. It's QR code. If anyone has been to the History Museum and wants to fill out the survey, that's really appreciated. And let me know if you have some questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ryan, I promise I'll get to you. I just have one more thing. Joel Kretz resigned from the club, but he did it for a great reason and he'll continue to be a Rotarian. But he did ask that I share a rather long message, so I'm paraphrasing a bit. So I hope this message finds you well. Though I haven't been as active lately, please know that you've been in my thoughts. And I wanted to share a quick life update with this very special group. Karina and I got married in November at St. Bridget here in Dublin, took a honeymoon in Curacao, and shared a new year and started the new year off busy. She's at Moorstream and I've been at Wendy's. Last year flew by between planning the wedding and navigating some personal family matters, which pulled me away from Rotary. Thank you for understanding. We also have big news. We've moved to Greater Cincinnati. I've accepted a new role at GE Aerospace, leading financial planning and analysis for their LEAP, which is leading edge aircraft engine program. It's a great opportunity and a big step forward professionally. Karina will stay with Moorstream, working remotely and occasionally traveling back to POW. So for now, he's just saying goodbye. I hope to stay involved in Rotary in Cincinnati once we've settled. We started house hunting and I began on March 31st. Thank you again for the gift of community. Please keep in touch. And he shared his email address and we'll put that in this letter. So, and Ryan, it's finally, the meeting's finally yours. So come on up. So Ryan's going to share about 2nd and 7. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey.
I'm gonna be super quick.
I've been so worried about how we were gonna get through all the.
All right, very quick, very quick. You know the drill. If you don't have your pin on, it's $1. We got a $20 small pot and 467, I think Rich said, on the big pot. This deck is getting thinner, so your chances of winning are much better. So first ticket drawn today gets a choice of taking the $20 or having a chance to win the big pot. And Gene, I'll let you draw the first ticket.
Okay. Last four, 2258.
You want small or big? Okay, he's gonna go for the big. So we'll draw another one for the small pot.
2237.
2237. All right, it's the small pot. Okay, we'll give it to Ryan. Very good. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Ryan, I don't want to eat into your time by introducing you and reading your bio, but thanks for joining us and thanks for all the great work. You do for Second Seven. Appreciate it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. And you know what? I know it's, save the best for last, you might say. Some would say, I'm used to kind of playing second fiddle when I come here with Craig Krenzel. In my house, I played football at Ohio State, but my wife played basketball at Ohio State. So some would say I'm the second best athlete in my family. Coach Cooper used to say, you're not real big, but you sure are slow. So I'm used to being able to take the punches a little bit. But in all honesty, I've really enjoyed coming here for a number of years and being with this group. It always gives me a shot of enthusiasm to wake up in the morning and see great people doing great things in the community. And it's something that's really a passion of mine, and something that I've been doing for the last 26 years through Second and Seven. Now, normally when I come here, we talk football, and we'll certainly talk a little bit of football today, and that's totally fine. I'm excited about that. But I wanted to just kick it off by sharing my story about Second and Seven and what we've been doing. And we've been so blessed to have a lot of organizations, including yours, that has supported Second and Seven through the years. Craig has been very supportive as well. And it's a bummer he's not here, but then again, it's probably better that he's not here. So Second and Seven is an organization, for some of you that know it intimately, I apologize. But for those of you who are brand new to it, hopefully this can shed some light on what the heck we're talking about when we talk about Second and Seven. So when I was a student athlete at Ohio State, when you come to Ohio State, not as only is it great because you have an opportunity to put on the scarlet and gray, dress in that locker room, come running out of the tunnel to 100,000 fans, hopefully make a tackle in Ohio Stadium. Those are amazing moments. And a lot of hard work takes place to get to that particular moment. There's only 11 guys on the field. 100 plus guys on the team, only 11 are going to be on the field at any given time. So it's really a lot of hard work. And I don't think people appreciate sometimes the time, energy, and effort that those kids, when they're little guys, and the energy and effort that their parents and their community help each one of those little guys out as they continue to chase a dream and then they get down that field. But one of the things that I feel like, I benefited from, and one of the things that really stuck with me wasn't necessarily all the tackles and touchdowns in Ohio Stadium, or the victory bell being rung, or the gold pants that we won, or the times we're walking off victorious at the Rose Bowl. Some of the things when it comes to the pay it forward mentality that was instilled by Woody Hayes years and years ago at Ohio State is as prominent today with Coach Day as it ever has been. And it was really something that was instilled in me as a student athlete at Ohio State. So here's how the story goes. And I can tell you like it was yesterday. I'm a young freshman. Again, I grew up in Allen Park, Michigan. Pause for the booze. Grew up in Allen Park, Michigan. Came here, I was 187 pounds coming out of high school. I was a tailback, played defense in high school a little bit too. Coach Cooper decided to put me on defense, play linebacker, because I could run, but I needed to put some weight on. So that first year, I didn't play a lick. I was getting redshirted. He made me drink whole milk at every single meal, try to put some weight on. And they had me doing some different community outreach things that were part of Ohio State's DNA for student athletes. And at the time, I remember I wasn't getting any requests. And it didn't really dawn on me that I wasn't getting any requests, but all of a sudden I get a phone call, and this is old school, the phone on the wall kind of situation. And a big calendar desk, if you remember those big calendar desks. And I remember getting the phone rings, I run over, grab it, and it's Larry Romanoff, who was a support staff member, asking if I could read to some children for Dr. Seuss's birthday. And I thought, I can read. Number one, I can read, okay? Number two, I have no idea when Dr. Seuss's birthday is, so you got to give me an idea what the date of that is. And so he tells me, he says, okay, it's this particular date. And as you can envision, you know, I'm pulling the calendar to put the date, you know, write it on the calendar. That's old school. It didn't have the phones and all the stuff that we do now. So I remember putting it in, and I'm so like excited because this is something that a coach is asking me to do. And I'm a freshman, I'm young, nervous. So I put it on the calendar. Well, it was months away. Again, I'm getting acclimated to school. I'm getting acclimated to lifting. I'm getting acclimated to the study table and the training table and all the different stuff, and learning the films and understanding defense was like a totally different thing for me. So I got a lot coming at me. Life's coming at me fast. As the months go by, I'm getting closer to the commitment that I made from Larry Romanoff. But there's other things that are now filling up my calendar, because now I'm starting to become maybe a chance to crack the two deep. I'm getting a chance to maybe make the kickoff coverage team. You know, things are happening. School's going well. You know, I may have had a girlfriend, right? So things start taking place. And I'm looking at my calendar like, man, why do I want to waste my time driving to some elementary school, reading to some kids, when I got all these important things on my calendar that are so much more important than reading to some kids that I don't even know? That was my attitude. But I'm a young freshman. My dad taught me if you make a commitment, you honor the commitment, and you move forward. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to this thing. I have a bad attitude. Get in the car, and I drive to West Broad Elementary School, which, by the way, is no longer an elementary school. This is the last year they're shutting it down. Go to the school, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, how long is this going to take? When can I get back over to the Woody Hayes Athletic Center? Because I got some lifting to do. I got some film to study. I've got things on my plate that are so much more important, right? And I walk in, and the principal's so excited to see me. And, hey, thank you so much for coming. And again, they don't know the difference between Ryan Miller and Ryan Day. I mean, it's like they just know that there's an Ohio State football guy here that's going to read to the second graders, right? I walk in and they're like, hey, thank you so much. It's Dr. Seuss's birthday. I want you to read this One Fish, Two Fish, you know, book. They hand it to me. We've all read it, right? We've all read it. And so I grab it, you know, I walk into the classroom again. Let's get this show on the road here so I can get back to more important things. I open up the door and these kids look at me like I was literally an alien landing from outer space. They are so pumped to have a athlete from Ohio State come and just share some time with them. And so I start to read and I realize, wow, this is pretty impactful. And then as I'm trying to leave, they're like hugging on me and like not wanting me to leave and asking me to sign autographs. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this was a little more important than I anticipated. So now I'm driving back to the Woody Hayes mad at myself for the way that I felt prior to going to the reading. And I remember talking to Larry Romanoff and I said, hey, listen, please let me know when there's another reading, because that's a lot more important than I anticipated. Those kids looked at me like, boy, they were craving somebody to just pay attention to them, you know, and to be interested in reading, which, by the way, is the #1 fundamental of life. You know, Coach Tressel used to say, if you can't run for the game of football, it's hard to play. And in life, if you can't read, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. And so when I started to get involved with that reading program, or just reading to the kids in general, there wasn't a systematic approach to it. It was just randomness of a teacher or a principal calling Ohio State and asking if a student athlete could come read. And at that time, there weren't many opportunities. It was just randomness. So when I graduated, two of the guys that were close to me and roommates of mine, teammates of mine, and had since read with me at different schools, handful of times in 5 years at Ohio State, were Luke Fickle, who's now the coach at Wisconsin, and Mike Vrabel, who's now the coach at the New England Patriots. Again, then there's me, right? So, but anyways, the three of us decided that, you know, one of the things we missed most about Ohio State, sure, it was the locker room camaraderie, sure, it was running out of the tunnel at Ohio Stadium, but man, reading to the kids was really kind of important. So we decided, you know, why don't we keep doing that? It doesn't make sense to just stop. We can always spend a little bit of time reading to a kid in the kid's classroom. And so back in 1999, I tell the kids 1999, we were 2 years removed from college, and we decided that we wanted to keep doing the readings, but we wanted to make it better. So when you're a football player at Ohio State, and I'm assuming when you're a sports and a college athlete at any level, you're always looking, how do you get better? How do you get better? How do you get better? And we wanted to make that experience better for the kids. And the best way we thought was to not only just go read to them, but to then give them a book. So then they remember the reading, and it's their book of their own. We could sign that book and, you know, have fun with them. And so that was the idea. And Luke, of course, is the most frugal of the three of us. He says, well, how are we going to pay for all those books? And then Mike, of course, is a one-track mind, says, oh, we'll just have a football camp to try to raise some money. So that's what we did. We held a little football camp. We had no idea what we were doing. Here we are, we're 24-year-old kids. We have a football camp, don't know how to promote it, don't know how to price it, don't know how to, you know, pay for all the shirts and all the stuff. But we knew if we just did something, that something good is going to come out of this. And so that year we had 40 kids that showed up, 40, showed up at Towers Park in Westerville. Now, it's a long way from here, but Luke grew up in Westerville and went to DeSales. His house was across the street from a little park that had these two huge electrical towers, and they called it Towers Park. It looked big enough that we could just run some drills and stuff, so we thought, hey, let's just have a camp at this little park. We asked a couple of guys that could help us design these t-shirts. Of course, we paid full price for them because we were idiots. We asked we thought, how long should we have camp? We had it for 4 days, too long. Had it for like 6 hours a day, too long. We were asking all of our friends and family to help volunteer, you know, which thankfully we have some great friends and family. And so those 40 kids showed up, each one of them. Cost them $40 to come, okay? So you start doing the math, get your calculators out. We didn't have any sponsors, no, you know. So by the time the expenses were paid, which Luke and Mike and myself didn't get a dime, right? We're just trying to figure this out. We're just hoping we don't have to pay in addition to try to throw this thing together. Long story short, it was about $762.53, around there is what we raised. And we were pumped. We were jacked. We took that money. We drove over to Borders Books. Now that's out of business now, okay? But you might remember, Borders Books was a store where you'd go in and you could find fun books. So I go in there, and I've got my 700 and change, and I asked the book director there, the store manager, can I buy as many second grade reading level books as this money will give me? Now, second grade was the reading class that we had always gone to when I was at Ohio State. I remember a research project as an undergrad talking about second grade is the most impressionable grade for a human being. So when you think about your own life in second grade, whoever won the World Series, that's who you think should win the World Series and be good for the rest of your life. That's the way it works. If you think that, there was a teacher or a coach or someone in your life in second grade, they had a profound impact on you versus in 7th grade or 9th grade or 12th grade. It's just over time, that's just the psychology of humanity, right? So we identified second grade as the grade. I asked them for these second grade reading level books. They pull out all of these boxes that my $700 can afford, and they gave me a discount. Again, looking back at it, it wasn't even that much of a discount. They probably I should have done a better job. Can you help donate a little bit here? Like, we can even go to more schools, but I didn't understand what I was doing. So they give us a discount. Now I go back home to my apartment, and I start calling schools. First school I call, they ask me, well, what's the catch? What does it cost? And I say, nothing, it's free. Mike and Luke and I are going to come and read to your school. Let me think about it. Well, okay. Hang up the phone. Felt like the first time I was rejected by a girl in college. I didn't feel good. So I had to work on my pitch, my game, right? So the next school I call, I asked them the same thing. And they're like, hey, I'm putting out a fire here. Can you call back later? It took me a while to get someone to actually say yes. And the first school that said yes was, guess who? West Broad Elementary School, which was that first school that I read to with the Dr. Seuss birthday. And they remembered that. And they said, oh yeah, you're a good guy. Yeah, for sure. Let's do that. You got books for the kids too? I said, yeah. How many kids do you have in second grade? They said 64 or whatever it was. So I deducted that from the total that I had, and then picked up the phone and called the next principal. And this time it was a little bit easier because they said, hey, I'm coming to West Broad Elementary School next Thursday with Mike and Luke. We would love to then come to your school and give your kids books as well. It's a free program, and we'll take 30 minutes of your time, that kind of thing. And they're, oh yeah. So now I started selling like hotcakes, right? Well, I only had enough books to get to 7 schools. So we read to second graders at 7 schools that first year. Loved every second of it. Said, we need to do a football camp again and just keep this going, but we need to call it something. We need to have an organization, have a foundation named it something. What do we want to call it? And of course, we're knucklehead football guys. So he said, second graders at 7 schools. Why don't we call it Second and 7? That's what we called it. Okay. So that was the origin story. Now, from that moment in time, football camp, kids must have had a good time because they told friends, and the next year we had 150 kids at camp. To the point where we ended up moving it to a different location that was a little bit more palatable for the parents dropping off kids. Now we had companies sponsoring shirts and had companies providing snacks. And now all of a sudden, this year we're going to have our 26th camp. We'll raise over $100,000 at this football camp because of sponsors and donors and supporters and the fees of camp and people volunteering their time. It's a major, major fundraiser. And it all started with this little kind of seed planted 26 years ago. But the point is, through the years, we've been able to go to more and more schools. As we kept buying these books, we realized we could produce our own books for a lot less expensive than buying them off the shelf. So I brought one here today. I'm going to leave it for you guys. Some of you have seen these before, but we started writing these children's books 16 years ago called the Hog Mollies. It's a Hog Molly series of books, and they go on these various adventures, and we come up with leadership themes like patience, practice, and persistence. Kindness is contagious. Doing the right thing, making good choices, healthy choices, anti-bullying messages, sportsmanship messages. There's all sorts of great messages in these books. And now we can give them to as many of the schools as we possibly can. This past year, when we celebrated our 25th year of reading, we gave away over 1 million books since we started. And these Hog Molly books. So it's grown like wildfire. Student athletes who have now since graduated and gotten coaching positions have called and said, hey, can we bring this to our university? If you go to the website, you're going to see there are hundreds of universities and high schools that have their student athletes reading to children, and we send them the Hog Molly books to execute. The community at large is involved in helping us raise the funds at our various events. And that's how we've been able to continue to grow. There's an executive director. There's a person involved in the role model reading program, which is what we talked about today. And then 2 years ago, we opened up the very first Columbus Kids Book Bank where people can donate back their books, their children's books, K through 6th grade, that we then sort through. Volunteers come and sticker, and they sort them into different, is that a picture book? Is that a chapter book? Different categories. And then we enhance our reading by when we go to these readings, we also bring a box of books and set up a equivalent of a Scholastic book fair that's free. So the kids can now, I've always felt like kids will go, they really want that book, but they can't afford to pay for that book in those Scholastic situations. Now look, here in Dublin, it's probably fortunate. You probably have the wherewithal, because a lot of the children could buy their books. Their parents have the wherewithal to let them buy 1 or 2 books. If a child can't, maybe you've got an organization that helps pitch in and, hey, let's get that kid a book. Not every community is as fortunate as Dublin and some of the communities that we're so blessed to be involved in here. So we've been able to take the books that maybe you had your son or grandson read a book for the first time, and then you don't get to it because you got so many books and you don't know what to do with them when they're done. Well, the book bank is a place for you to drop them off now, knowing they're going to go to a good home. And so our reading program has now been amplified by our Columbus Kids Book Bank. And so that continues to grow and evolve. Now, 26 years, we've been tackling the literacy. We've been staying focused on our mission, which is to promote reading by providing free books and positive role models to kids in need, while encouraging those young athletes in the community to pay it forward like we did. And it's just been an absolute blessing. We've met so many great people through the years. We've hopefully lit a fire or lit the pilot light in somebody to create a fire for them to be involved in the literacy in our youth of America, because we believe that that's a huge opportunity and a big solution that we could all be a part of. We've been blessed to have a lot of great high profile names involved as well. But again, like I said, a second grader doesn't really give a crap what your name is. They really care if you're there. And so we try to be there, and we give great opportunities to every single student athlete at Ohio State. And there are countless, 174 the last time I checked, universities, high schools in 23 different states that read to children every Thursday and Friday. So today at 10 a.m., student athletes will be reading and giving out Hog Molly books, and they'll be doing that for these next couple of months because school is about to wrap up. But in the summer, we have opportunities to continue to have leadership development for those student athletes to read and give away books. So that's how we've kind of taken this one little small idea and turned it into what it is today. I'm as excited about it today as I was way back when. A guy told me years ago, an overnight success takes about 20 years. And that's probably right. You know, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Next best time is today. So like, if you're at all interested in being involved, we continue to be involved because you guys have been involved. Please let us know if you want to get involved as a group, as the Rotary. That's great. Individually, there's opportunities to help steward little free libraries because we can populate those with the donated books. You can come help volunteer at the book bank by sorting or stickering books. You could help do a book drive at the various schools here in town. You'll be surprised at how much you can do. And it's really been something that, again, it's been a blessing to be a part of. And we're just so grateful for organizations like the Rotary that have been so supportive. So thank you so much. I know I'm wrapping up on time here. I don't know if we wanted to take any questions, but that would be great if I do. Yeah.
Question I have announcement to share with you. Our literacy committee is doing a book drive, I think April or May, for 2nd and 7th. So I just wanted to let you know that.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. Well, I'm excited to see what the book drive, how the book drive ends out, because I know a lot of times, you know, it's one of those things where you expect to get a certain amount, but you're going to be surprised. You're going to get so much more than you even expected. So thank you so much. It's a hog molly. Hog molly is Coach Cooper used to call the offensive line big old hog mollies. And so that's why we call, and we thought it was kind of a fun name. And all four of them have a different name. So one of them's name is Harley, and we call him Harley after Chick Harley. Those of you who are familiar with Ohio State football, he's the father of Ohio State football. They built Ohio Stadium because of Chick Harley. So the first guy's named Harley. The next one's Hoppy, Hopalong Cassidy, right? Third one's name is Duke. Huh? That's weird. Well, when we wrote the first one, Lauren and I, my wife and I, who was a medical student at Ohio State, did her residency at Duke. We were living in Raleigh, North Carolina, so we called the third one Duke. And then the fourth one's name is Sprout, and we were brainstorming names. Bobby Carpenter was on our brainstorming committee, and none of us really loved the last name, and he's driving away at that time with his girlfriend, now his wife, and he calls back and he says, hey, we're brainstorming. We think we came up with the fourth name. And I said, what is it? What do you think it should be? He says, Sprout. I said, Sprout. He says, yeah, we think it's hilarious. It would be funny. It mixes with the other three names. And that stuck. So it was Sprout. So if you see Bobby, you can say, oh, he was one of the hog molly creators. That's kind of a fun one.
Jim went and did a lot of the second and seven readings for our Rotary Club. And after going with Jim to one of the second grades, I know exactly that feeling that you're talking about, right? The kids are great. But after that, I volunteered and did, took a whole family to your Thanksgiving event. Would you mind just sharing? Because that sweatshirt's just wonderful.
So the Thanksgiving event that you're referring to is the Flying Feather 4 miler.
Yeah.
So there's David Babner, who's a Dublin resident and does a lot of great things in the city and does all of the M3S sports races. So if you're familiar with the Capital City Half Marathon or the Memorial 4 miler, these are finished on the 50 in Ohio Stadium. They do all those races. And so they did the Flying Feather 4 miler years ago. And since it was on Thanksgiving, they thought, let's do something with gratitude and let's do something with Second and Seven. So when people participate in that, proceeds are donated back to Second and Seven. We also now have the ability for people to donate books there. We also give all the little Gobbler Chase kids a book, which is super fun, right? So we've kind of coordinated with them and made it really cool. I mean, events have been one of those things where we never really did a golf outing until all of a sudden Giant Eagle decided to take what they were doing as a golf outing and just take those funds and give it to Second and Seven. So all of a sudden, Second and Seven turned into having a golf outing that was run by Giant Eagle. And now here we are years later, and we're still doing the same golf outing. And it's thanks to a lot of people that Second and Seven has been able to grow the way it has. But I do like to say the ladies at Second and Seven are great stewards of the donated dollar. And when people see the impact that their dollars are having and their work is having, it just allows them to be proud of it and want to do more. So
Ryan, thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Next week, we're continuing along the literacy path, hosting the Dublin Education Foundation with Deb Papish and Melissa Bogner. Our closing quote comes from Frederick Douglass. Once you learn to read, you will forever be free. Have a great week. Sorry.